On today's video, I'll be talking about why most girls in Nigeria above 30 are still single and unmarried. We all know in today's Nigeria is almost a pandemic, girls being above 30 and not being married. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not one of those people who say that a woman who is not married has achieved practically nothing in life. No, I think marriage is something great, especially for the women, because if you check it out, it is the women who actually benefit more in marriage. That's basically the facts of it. That's the truth of the matter. It is women who benefit more in most marriages. Now, a woman who ends up not being married, that could easily make her life harder, because that's the truth. Most men come into women's life to make the women's lives easier. For example, I'm a guy, I go to marry a girl. Now, if I'm marrying that girl, don't forget, it is now my duty to protect and to provide for her, which basically makes her life easier. It is also my duty to procreate with her. And at the end of the day, we all know that children tend to take after their moms far more than they take care of their dads. So all in all, by all ramifications, it's actually the women who benefit more in marriage. Now, why is now rampant seeing girls above 30 in Nigeria who are not married? Now, the major reason why most women in Nigeria are not married is not even because of bad character or lack of home training. I'll come to those parts. I'll come to those aspects of all these reasons. I'll come to that part. But the major reason why these days is as if most girls in Nigeria are not finding husbands. It's simple. The country is hard. I know the biggest victims of a bad economy in any country is always the women. How do I mean? Let's use Nigeria as a typical example. Nigeria right now, people are struggling. According to a verified statistics, Nigeria is a country of about 200 and something million. And about 103 million of these Nigerians are living in poverty. And about 99.5 or so number of Nigerians don't have up to 500,000 naira in their accounts. So that's basically like those in Nigeria who have about 500k and above in their accounts are like 0.5% of the population, which is worrisome, which is pathetic, and which is very disturbing. Because a situation whereby a country of 200 million, only about, let's say, 20,000 of them, or even less, are the ones who have up to 500,000 naira in their account, it becomes worrisome. Because this is to tell you how deep in poverty Nigeria and Nigerians are in. So it's worrisome. Now, like I said earlier, the biggest victims of a bad economy in any country are the women. Why do I say so? Now, for a man to be able to settle down, be able to marry a wife, be able to start a family, the man must have attained a level of financial comfort. Probably he's not rich. Probably he doesn't. He's not living a luxurious life, but he can afford the basic things of life. He can afford probably a flat, 2-bedroom flat, because personally, I will not advise a guy who is living in one room to get married. What are you marrying for when you are living in one room? Now, I'm not the kind of person who believes in you marry a woman and she brings good luck into your life. No. If that woman actually has good luck, why has she not used it in her own life? As Nigerians, we tend to deceive ourselves with some kind of spiritual lies and self-deception, which will condition ourselves to believe. Which one is you marry a girl and she'll bring her good luck? that will now help you to make money. That is foolish to think. Now, I'm not saying that there's not women who bring good luck to their husbands. It happens. But you shouldn't have that mentality that I want to get married so that this girl will bring good luck. So that after I marry this girl, I'll start making money. Who thinks like that? That is a very archaic and very stupid law of thinking. The best thing as a man is, before you go and pick a wife, make sure that you are already on the path of financial success. Now, it's not a must you must have your own house. It's not a must you must have a car. It's not a must you must be living in luxury for you to get married. Because there are some men who have this mentality that before I marry, I have to buy this one, I have to get this one, I have to do this one. Some men actually have this kind of mentality. But I think that is you making your life harder. That's the truth. As a man, once you know that you can be able to feed your wife, because me personally, this is my personal opinion. I strongly believe in a man being the provider of the home. That's the truth. I'm one of those guys who believe that a man should provide 100% for his wife and for his kids, because that is like the major role a man has to play in a marriage, to provide and to protect. But these days, due to how hard Nigeria is, the truth is, a young man who wants to marry may not be able to carry all these financial burdens alone. So it's also advisable that as a young guy who wants to enter into marriage, that you marry or you get involved with a woman who can also assist you financially. Because the truth is, how it is for me may not be how it is for others. So I might be here saying, I won't allow my woman to contribute financially, but not so many guys will be able to live that kind of way, or will be able to afford to run their families 100% from their own pockets. So they will likely need assistance. So that is where your woman comes in. But never, as a man, you should never allow a woman to play a major role in providing for your family. See, what most guys don't understand is, the moment you tell your wife that, babe, or honey, or whatever you guys call yourselves, that I'll bring 50% of the money and you bring 50% of the money. The truth is, you have also divided your authority into 50% in that home. That is just the facts. This is why, if you go to the Western countries, where couples practice 50%, I'll bring 50%, you bring 50%, and we combine and we pay our house rent, we pay mortgage, we pay for the children's tuition, all those things. If you check very well, in most of these Western countries, the wives actually have this mentality that their husbands are not higher than them in terms of authority of running the home. In fact, these women actually believe that they are on the same level of authority with their husbands. This is why majority of the women in the Western countries do not believe in submitting to a man. Of course, even if I'm the one, why would I submit to a man when I know that we are carrying all the burdens 50-50? Because what most guys don't understand is that what actually makes a woman to submit more to a man is when that woman knows that that man is the one providing for her, providing for the children, and basically being the one financing the majority of the family's expenses. It makes them to submit, because at that point, you are carrying out your core masculine duty to that woman, and she will have no choice but to respect you. But a situation whereby your wife knows that you are bringing as much as that, there's no much difference. So why would she not submit to you? She will not see any reason for that submission equation to be balanced. Because just imagine you are putting 50 naira and putting 50 naira, and you now want me to submit to you. Like, it makes no sense. But if the man is putting 90 naira and I'm putting 10 naira, of course, he is now like a superior to me. Because what actually makes women to submit to a man is when they see that man as a superior and not as an equal. Once you start running your home 50%, 50%, your wife automatically, in her mind, it registers in her mind immediately that she's your equal. That is one thing most guys don't understand. There's nothing wrong with your woman contributing or helping you out or assisting you financially once in a while. But as a man, you should not make it a core duty that or or you should not go into that agreement with your woman that it's all about 50-50. Because the moment you go into a 50% agreement with your wife in the finances, she's also going to see you as her equal in that marriage. This is the truth. This is why in most of these Western countries, wives no longer believe in cooking. If the wife knows that she's contributing 50% also, if she cooks, she will expect the husband to cook. Because obviously I'm bringing 50%, so whatever I'm doing, you follow me and do because you are not my equal. If I'm changing the children's diapers, you follow me and change the children's diapers. This is why majority of the men in these Western countries are feminized, are weak. You see men cooking. I'm not saying as a man that cooking is bad. No. If you cook once in a while, that's okay. But you see men now seeing it as their responsibilities to cook simply because they accepted to be in a 50-50 marriage or they wanted a 50-50 marriage. You see men changing the diapers of their children. Like, those things are not things a man should do. That is not the duty of a man. A man should not be at home changing diapers. A man should not be at home cooking. A man should not be at home acting as a child care or acting as a nanny to the kids. A man should be out there conquering. A man should be out there making money. But because you choose to be in a 50-50% marriage, your wife now expects you to do those things because she's also bringing the same level and the same percentage to the table as you bring. So there's no difference between two of you. Two of you are now equals. But a situation whereby you are always out there hustling, bringing in 90% of the money, and she's only bringing 10%. Even in her own mind, she will now know that it is her duty to cook. It is her duty to clean the diapers of the kids. It is her duty to do all those things which a woman should do. But because most men in the Western countries have been feminized, they now believe in 50-50%. In fact, the truth is, majority of these people in the Western countries, both men and women, have lost the core knowledge or the core duties of a masculine, of a man and a woman. They have lost it all. They don't even know how to differentiate between the duties of a man and the duties of a woman. That's identity. Those things which a man should do and those things which a woman should do are now being confused. A man's job is to provide. A man's job is to protect. A man's job is to procreate with the woman. The woman's job is to take care of the kids. But in these days, you now see men cooking. You now see men changing diapers. Now, I'm not saying doing those things is bad. It's your choice. If you choose to do those things, it's your choice. But one thing you guys should understand that there are consequences. And the consequence is that if you are a man who believes in 50-50 with your wife, and you end up changing diapers, because obviously the woman will expect you to change diapers. Because if she does it, you will also do it because you are her equal. Because obviously she's bringing 50% and you're bringing 50%, which makes two of you equals. When in the actual sense, is the man who is meant to be the leader, is the man who is meant to be the head of the home. But that identity has been lost. Those masculine and feminine roles are now being mixed together, which is now creating conflicts in marriages. This is why majority of the marriages in the Western countries are ending up in divorces. Why? Because the women don't even know what they are meant to do, and the men don't even know what they're meant to do. The men have lost their sense of masculinity and their masculine duties. Whereas the women have also lost their feminine duties. Most women don't even know what they should be doing as wives. You see a wife staying in the office like from 8 to 5. If you ask her, she'll be like, I'm building my career. You are building your career and you're neglecting your children. Sometimes the woman will be in the office working late nights and the man will be at home changing diapers. After a while, because obviously the man deep down in him, he knows that this is not my duty. This is not what I'm meant to be doing. Over time, he grows frustrated. And before you know it, he starts cheating. And before you know it, the wife will divorce him. But if in actual case, the man was always the one outside conquering, and the woman was the one inside taking care of the children, which is like the natural ways of things. Because it is innate in women to nurture. It is women's duty to take care of the home. It is the man's duty to go out and conquer and come back and feed the family with the resources which he has gotten from outside. Not many men understand the masculine roles of a man in these Western countries. Not many men understand it anymore. Because these days, most of the men are feminized. Most of the women are suffering from feminism delusions. Because these days, feminism is telling women that you are equal to a man, which is very bad. Because if you tell a girl that she's equal to a man, you're only making her life miserable. So we now have men who don't even understand their roles anymore. And this is one of the reasons why majority of the marriages in the Western countries are ending up in divorce because of this equality mentality. Naturally, men love it. And what keeps a man in a marriage, the most important thing which keeps a man in marriage, is respect from his woman and submission from his woman. Now, if you check out these marriages in the Western countries, the women don't believe in respecting and submitting to their man. And once you can't submit to a man, you can't respect that man. So, most of these men have been feminized. They now have this feminism mentality in their heads. So they'll be like, I will survive in the marriage. Shebi na 50-50. Shebi is 50%, 50%. Shebi is equality. Is what they're thinking. Shebi is equality. It's equality. That's it. It's equality. We'll see how it goes. Then they enter the marriage, and before you know it, they become frustrated. Because the truth is, equality can't work for most men. Even if a man says, I will try it out, I'll stick to the end, before you know it, they'll start cheating. One of the major reasons, if not the major reason, of most of the divorces in the Western countries is infidelity from the man. And 70 to 90% of the time, it is the women who initiate the divorces because their husbands got tired of them not respecting him, got tired of them not submitting to him, and started having affairs elsewhere. And the women will be like, this man, he must in fact, the laws in the Western countries favor women a lot. So women have a lot of powers in the marriage. So at times, the man will know that he's tired of this marriage. So he simply zones out because he knows that if he goes to divorce this woman, he stands to lose a lot. So what he now does is to zone out of the marriage and start having affair elsewhere. This is why a lot of men in marriages in the Western countries are extremely unhappy. They are unhappy in their marriages because their wives don't submit to them and their wives don't respect them. And they can't even divorce, and they can't even end the marriage because if they end the marriage, they are still going to be at loss. So this is why majority of the men in these Western countries are basically unhappy in their marriages. Majority of men are depressed in their marriages in the Western countries. So just imagine how these Western countries are treating men. There was even a video I watched of a girl in the UK. I watched this video some time ago. This girl said that in the UK, they actually value women as number one. Then they value they value animals more than they value men. I can't remember the particular place I saw the video, but I saw this video on Instagram some time ago. That in the UK, they value women first, and then they value animals before they value men. So you can understand the kind of penury and sufferings these men go through in the Western countries. So that's basically it. So a situation whereby the country is economically hard, a situation whereby the men are frustrated economically, financially, they will not see money to marry. And if they don't see money to marry, who is going to marry the women? Nobody. This is one of the major reasons why you see most women who are 30 years and above, single and unmarried, because the men who are meant to be marrying them don't have money. Don't have money. You can't go and marry a girl when you are earning about 20k salary, when you are earning 30k salary, unless she's probably earning the same amount. And you know, women can never marry. Women can hardly ever marry a man who doesn't make as much as them, or who makes below them. So if a woman is making 30,000 naira every month, she's probably going to marry a man who is making 35,000 naira and above. I know these days, every girl wants to marry a rich man. And you all know this is a fact. The rich men can't go around. There are very few rich men in Nigeria. In fact, it's not even rich men. There are very few financially stable men in Nigeria. So all these girls who are saying, I want to marry a man who has a car, I want to marry a man who is earning about 500k every month. That's the man you are looking for. About 500 of your fellow girls are also going after him, because the men who have the money in Nigeria are very few. They are very few. So the competition is very tough, and the men cannot go around. This is why you see a guy who is financially stable dating about 5 different girls, and those girls, they desperately want him. And if you check out, women these days in Nigeria are not even uncomfortable. They're not uncomfortable dating or being with a guy who has multiple girlfriends. In fact, majority of the girls in Nigeria are very much comfortable. They are comfortable dating a married man. In fact, some of these girls in Nigeria actually prefer dating married men, because married men tend to be more financially stable than the younger single guys who are still trying to come up in life. So the bad economic situation in Nigeria is affecting the level of marriages for these women. Because if the country is hard, the men will not make money. And if the men are not making money, they will not marry. It affects the women more, because a man who did not make money in his 30s, in his 40s, he could decide to make money and marry. But once a woman crosses 29, the truth is her chances of marrying automatically comes down to 20% or 30% or so. That's the truth. Because what the three things men value in women, the three things men consider when it comes to marriage, is number one, youth. That is like the part of it, or that's like number one, youth. This is why you see men who are making money in their 30s coming to marry women who are in their early 20s, because men value youth. Because marrying a girl who is 22, she has more time to give birth. Unlike when you marry a girl who is 32, who is probably about to reach menopause. That's the truth. Because some women, this is scientifically proven, some women start experiencing their own menopause from the age of 35. So it's not much you must reach 40 or 40 something before you start experiencing menopause. Some women start having fertility problems from the age of 35. This is facts. So men value youth, men value physical beauty, and men value sexual purity. Youth, physical beauty, and sexual purity, less body counts. The truth is, and in normal circumstances, you cannot compare the body count of a girl who is 32 years, who has been having sexual experiences since she was 18, with a girl who is just 22, who began 4 years ago. Unless the girl is probably like into selling her body for money. But if it's like two normal girls who have been dating, this one has been dating, this one has been in the market, this one has been in the game, in the dating game for like 12 years. And this one just began some few years ago. The one who starts something years is going to have more body count. And men don't want women with high body counts. That's the truth. Now, the other reasons why why some women who are in their 30s, in their 40s, who are above 30. The other reason why women who are not yet married in Nigeria are, number one, other reasons, too many high standards. I want a man who has a car. I want a man who is driving a G-Wagon. I want a man who makes 500,000 every month. You want it all. But the men are few. As you are looking for this man, many other girls are also looking for this man. Because the truth is, these days, no girl wants to suffer. So they don't want the poor guys. They are only chasing after the few rich men. So the competition is very, very tough. So the higher a woman's standards, the much more difficult it becomes for her to get a suitable husband. Because you have too many standards. He must be 6 feet tall. He must have a car. He must be fair. He must be cute. One man though. And you think you find him easily. Don't you know that other girls are also looking for this kind of men? And they are very few. They are very few. The men who make money in Nigeria, the men who are financially stable in Nigeria, who are looking for wives, they are very few. Most of the men in Nigeria are broke. Most of the men in Nigeria are struggling financially. So if you have too many standards as a woman, you are bound. In most cases, it could work for you because there are always exceptions to everything. It could work for you, but the more standards a woman have when it comes to marriage, the more difficult it becomes for her to find a man or for a man to marry her. Now, the second reason is a woman wanting to accomplish career success before marriage. See, the amount of money a woman makes doesn't matter to a man, or rather, doesn't matter to most men, because I know there are some men who marry women for that woman's money. It happens. But a woman's money doesn't mean anything to a man, because a man who is about to marry already knows that he's the one that is going to be providing for you and for his family. So unless it is the few men, because there are men like that who marry women so that they can eat the woman's money, also they can manipulate the woman into giving them all her money. It happens. But in most cases, men don't even care about a woman's money. Men don't care about your career success. A man who is a millionaire is comfortable with marrying a girl he met who works as a fuel attendant at a petrol station. A man doesn't have problem. A male millionaire doesn't have a problem marrying that kind of girl. What men are looking for in women is simple. One, youth. Two, sexual purity. Three, physical beauty. And then character. Even though character comes before these three things I mentioned. Character. You can have all the money in the world as a woman. You can have all the career success in the world as a woman. But if you cannot submit to a man, if you don't have character, in fact, what men are looking for in women is simple. Just these four things I mentioned. A man doesn't care about how many degrees you have, what you have achieved in your career, all those things women think they really care about. Men don't give a damn about those things. A girl will be like, I want to get a PhD before I start thinking of marriage. By the time she has finished getting the PhD, she starts something years. And that is when she will now remember to get married. Which man will agree to marry such kind of women? Just few of them. Which means you have already narrowed your options. And if care is not taken, no man will marry you. And the worst part is that the more degrees, the more career success a woman have, the more intimidating she appears to men. So even the few men who wants to be with you, they'll be intimidated. And they will have no choice but to leave you and go for the smaller, younger girls. Because the truth is, men value their authority over a woman a lot, over their women a lot. Because deep down in every man, it is naturally wired in us to always want to dominate. I'm not saying domineer or be a control freak. I'm saying dominate, to always be the leader in every relationship and marriage we get into. When a man knows that he cannot even tell you what to do, what's the use of him being in that marriage? He will leave you, or he will not even see the need to marry you if you guys are dating. So the more successful a woman is, the more her chances of marriage also decreases, because you now appear more intimidating. And the men who meet your standards are now very few, because there is no way a woman who makes 1 million naira will look at marrying a man who makes 200,000 naira. So she will be looking at the men who makes more than 1 million, who are very few. Unlike a girl who makes 10,000 naira every month. If she meets a man who makes 50k, good for her. And many men make 50k. Unlike when you are not looking for men who make more than 1 million naira every month. They are very few. So I'm not saying you should not achieve career success. I'm not saying those things. I'm just saying that the fact and the truth of the matter is that the more successful you are as a woman, the more limited your male options are. This is just facts. Chukwuka did not make these things up. It's just facts. Now the next reason is they have bad behaviors. Like some of these women who are both 30 and single and unmarried, their problem is not spiritual, like they will be meant to believe when they attend all these church programs, because pastors also make money from some of these women who bring their marriage problems to them. Because majority of these pastors, they are just simply out there to take advantage of people who are having one problem or the other. So when you go to these pastors, they will tell you your problem is spiritual. Bring this, bring that, and they'll deliver you. 5 months later, you're still single. So some of these women you see who are single at 30, who are married or married at 30, some of them, their problems is that they have bad behaviors. And they expect men to like them like that. See, no matter who you are, no matter how beautiful you are, no matter how good you are in bed, most men will still not marry you. They could date you, they could, play around with you here and there, massage your ego so that they can get in between your legs. Because the truth is, men can do anything to get in between a woman's leg. Men are ready to do anything to get in between there. But don't think because a man can tolerate your bad behavior in a relationship or in a casual, affair, you not think that this man will tolerate it into marrying you. No. Most men tolerate all those BS because they want to get in between your legs. It's as simple as that. Now the next thing is, so for if you want to marry faster as a woman, you have to have a good character. And it's not even a big deal. Just know how to respect people. It's as simple as that. Don't be saucy. Like I've seen girls who are saucy, who are extremely rude. Like these girls are rude. It's just in their blood. Like it's in their blood. And if you check well, these girls, their mothers are also rude. Because for a girl to be rude, she got it from her mother. It's as simple as that. Because you cannot see a girl who is from a nice home, a good background, a respectful background, being so saucy. For someone to be saucy, both a girl or a boy, or a man or a woman, he or she learned it somewhere. And the place where, in most cases, they get these things from is their family. A man who beats his wife, check well, his father also used to beat his mom. That's where he learned it from. A woman who nags a lot, a woman who doesn't respect the husband, check well, her mother never respected her father. So she learned it from her mother. Because fathers, this is like the truth. This is a fact. Sons tend to take after their fathers, especially marriages. And women tend to take after their mother in marriage too. Because as a child growing up, you saw how your mom was treating your dad. So you copied it. And as a guy, as a child growing up, you saw how your dad was treating your mom. So you copied it. And you grew up, and in most cases, you grew up to do the same thing. Now, the next reason why most girls are not married is because they cannot manage a home. There are some women who don't have what it takes to manage a home. These women can't even organize themselves. Talk more of organizing a home, because before you organize a home, you must be able to organize yourself. Some women just don't have that, discipline, because it takes a lot of discipline and being well-mannered for a woman to be able to take care of a home. You can't take care of a home if you don't know how to organize yourself. There are some women who are dirty. They are not only dirty. So is it the kind of woman you bring in your home to manage your home? If you make your home dirty, a woman who can't even manage her life, who can't even manage herself, is it not your home she'll manage? There are some women who are very careless. Is it the kind of women you bring to manage your home? Because the truth is, the beauty of because the truth is, a family house reflects the mother of that house. That's the truth. A house reflects the mother of that house. If you come into a home, in most cases, the person who is always in charge of the home is the woman, is the wife. The husband's duty is to go out and bring money and provide the resources for the family. But the person who runs the home, who cooks, who inspects or takes care of the chores, is the woman. So if a woman can't organize her own life, how is she going to organize a home? She can't. She will fail woefully. And men, before a man marries a woman, he tends to check out for these things. Can she manage a home? If I marry her, can this one manage my home? Because the truth is, men are looking for helpers in their wives. So men are very careful when it comes to marriage. The next thing is, she's emotionally damaged. There are some girls who are incapable of bonding with a man because they are emotionally damaged. They have been in so many toxic relationships to the extent that they can't even forge a strong bond with any man deeply again. Their emotions have been destroyed. And once you can forge a strong bond with a man emotionally, as a woman, it becomes impossible or difficult for you to get a man who will love you deeply. Because if you cannot love deeply, the man can't love you deeply. That's the truth. Because for two people to love each other deeply, it means that you people have removed all forms of defense. You people are not very vulnerable and open to each other. But a girl who is emotionally damaged, she's just incapable of being vulnerable. She's just incapable of loving anybody deeply again. This is a fact. The next thing is, these days, women don't believe in cooking. These days, some of these girls don't believe in cooking. They say that cooking is an ancient thing women did, and therefore, in this modern world, they are no longer obligated to do same. A woman who can't cook, of what use are you to a man? Now, I'm not saying that like the only thing a woman can offer is cooking. No, the truth is, A man cannot be comfortable. Any man can never be comfortable marrying a woman who doesn't believe in cooking, which these days some girls actually foolishly believe to be so. And it's actually a pity, because these girls are actually shooting themselves on their legs with their own hands. Because if you cannot cook for a man, what other reasonable thing are you going to give a man? That's basically it on today's video, guys. See you guys in the next video.